Listen close. If you all ask what's wrong with America, or almost any nation, you're usually going to hear the same answer: politics. Every generation believes politics is the biggest problem. It's the election, it's the other party, it's Congress, it's the president, it's the Supreme Court. But history tells a more complicated story. Because while politics certainly matters, character matters even more. Take a step back for a moment. Empires have existed for thousands of years. Kingdoms have risen, republics have fallen, constitutions have been written, governments have been replaced. Political parties that once dominated history have completely disappeared. The Whigs, the Federalists, the Jeffersonian Republican Party, entire political coalitions that once seemed permanent eventually faded away. Ideas evolve, laws change, borders move. Political victories, though, they rarely last forever. But throughout history, the societies that flourished longest shared something deeper than political agreement. They valued integrity, responsibility, courage, compassion, accountability. These aren't Republican values. They aren't Democrat values. They're human values. And every healthy society depends on enough people choosing them. One of the greatest dangers any democracy faces isn't disagreement. Disagreement is healthy. In fact, it's necessary. The danger is tribalism. It's when we stop listening because we've already decided the other person has nothing worth hearing. It's when we assume motives instead of asking questions. It's when we confuse disagreement with evil. When that happens, politics stops being about solving problems and it becomes about defeating enemies. And history shows that's when societies begin pulling themselves apart from the inside. Democracy requires something difficult. It requires people who compassionately disagree without dehumanizing one another. It requires citizens who care more about truth than victory, more about principles than personalities, and more about the future than today's headlines. That's hard, but it also is what keeps free societies alive. Now, here's the part that matters most: there are things you simply cannot control. You can't control Congress, you can't control the Supreme Court, you can't control the president, you can't control what millions of strangers decide to do, but you can control something far more influential than you can control your honesty. You can control whether your word means something. You can control how you raise your children, how you treat your neighbors. You can control your work ethic. You can control whether you admit when you're wrong. You can control whether you're someone who builds trust or tears it down. Healthy nations aren't built only by good institutions. They're built by ordinary people making extraordinary choices every single day. History repeatedly teaches the same lesson. Laws matter, leaders matter, institutions matter, but none of them can permanently save a nation whose citizens abandon responsibility, integrity, and civic virtue. Likewise, even imperfect governments can endure when enough citizens choose to live with character. Because governments reflect people long before people reflect governments. So tonight, Maybe the most important political question isn't who should lead the country. Maybe it's who am I becoming? Because political parties will continue to change. Elections will come and go. Presidents will rise and fall. But the values you choose to live by every single day, that's a legacy you leave. And before we ask who should lead the nation, maybe we should first ask whether we're becoming the kind of people worthy of leading it ourselves. I'm Ryan, and this is Evolve Minute. Be the spark, ignite change, evolve 1 minute at a time.